positions of the Speaker of the House and Deputy Speaker has been changed. Um, I, Honorable Member Elijah Sinclair, would be taking over the Speaker of the House role. Knowing that the House is in session, as the Speaker of the House, I will be presiding over the parliamentary debate. The motion before the Honorable House is leaders are born and not built. Before we begin, a reminder to all members that the theme for the motion is the government, titled as Born to Lead. The team against the motion, the opposition, is known as Built Leaders. As the previous debate, we know that the timekeepers will raise their hands to warn us of a 30-second remainder. When time is up, a bell will be rang to tell you guys that the time has expired. We still follow, we are following parliamentary rules, um, and I would like that all members of the House to be respectful and look forward to seeing what you guys have in store for us today. So, honorable member of the government, you have the floor. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning. I'd like to just state that my name is Shai Mendoza. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, mediators, and the members of the opposition. We, the Born to Lead team, stand firmly on the side of the motion. Leaders are born, not made. While education and experience may shape a person's skills, the essence of true leadership is natural. It is a natural gift knit into the very fabric of one's personality, not something that can be manufactured in a classroom or boardroom. Let us begin with the foundation of leadership: personality traits. Great leaders possess qualities like confidence, charisma, decisiveness, resilience, and emotional intelligence. These are not taught, they are inherited. You cannot teach someone to be naturally confident under pressure or instinctively sympathetic in crisis. These traits emerge early in life, often before any formal training. A child who instinctively takes charge, motivates their peers, and navigates conflict with ease is not learning leadership. They are living it. Learning can polish a leader, but it cannot create one. Now, let's turn to history. The world's most iconic leaders, Alexander the Great, Queen Elizabeth I, Nelson Mandela, they, not, they did not wait for leadership seminars to shape their destiny. They led because it was in their nature. Alexander was commanding armies at 16, and Mandela's moral courage was evident long before his political rise. These individuals were not molded, they were revealed by the circumstances they were in. Their leadership was not taught, it was released. Consider the realm of crisis. When disaster strikes and training may falter, instinct prevails. Natural leaders rise, not because they were taught what to do, but because they feel what must be done. They possess an internal compass that guides them through chaos. In moments of uncertainty, people don't follow the most educated, they follow the most authentic, and that authenticity is born, not made. Let's not forget science, however. Behavioral genetics shows that traits linked to leadership, like extroversion, openness, assertiveness, have strong heredity components. This means some individuals are predisposed to lead. You can't teach someone to be naturally inspiring. You can refine a skill, but you cannot create a spark. Now, some may argue that leadership can be taught. Yes, you can teach management techniques, public speaking, or strategic planning, but these are tools, not the soul of leadership. A person may learn to act like a leader, but without the inner fire, they will never truly lead. Leadership is a role, it is a reality that flows from within. Thus, I urge you to consider this. Leadership is not a certificate, it is a calling. You can teach someone to manage tasks, but you cannot teach them to move hearts. True leaders are born with the ability to inspire, to influence, and to ignite change. Let us not confuse polish with power, as the diamond shines because of its nature, not because of its training. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. We will now have a 2-minute intermission. We now invite the honorable members of the opposition to deliver their opening speech. You have 5 minutes.
Good, good morning. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, mediators and my honorable members. Today, my team and I, the built leaders, stand firmly against the motion that leaders are born and not made. We reject the belief that leadership is a gift handed only to a chosen few at birth. Because if that were true, then the world would run on the leadership of biological luck, not effort, not education, not experience, and not growth. Before I proceed, let us define leadership. Leadership is the ability to influence, guide, motivate, and inspire others toward a common goal. Notice, these are actions and behaviors. They are things a person learns to do. Leadership is not merely a trait you wake up with. It is not something found in a baby crib. A newborn cannot communicate vision, negotiate, plan, adapt, or strategize. They are taught and they grow. Leadership is formed in classrooms, on sport fields, in businesses, in communities, and sometimes even through failure. Many leaders are shaped because of challenges they face, not because of what they were born with. When someone falls, learns, rises again, and improves, that is what molds a leader. If leadership was determined by birth, why would we value resilience, personal development, and training so highly? What would be the purpose of role models, mentors, and coaches? These exist because leadership is shaped, guided, and built. If leadership were purely genetic, then every child with confidence would automatically become a leader. Yet, thousands of confident children never lead. And strangely, many people who were quiet or unsure of themselves become amazing leaders later in life. Why, you may ask? Because they learned how. Leadership is the result of development, not destiny. Consider skills such as critical thinking, communication, conflict management, emotional intelligence, and strategic planning. These are not inborn abilities. These are taught, practiced, and refined through experience. Just like a muscle grows with exercise, leadership strengthens with use. No one is born knowing how to run a business, manage a team, solve problems under pressure, or inspire others toward a vision. They develop these strengths over time. A born trait is something fixed, like height, eye color, or blood type. Leadership is not fixed. It evolves, it grows, it improves. That alone proves that leaders are made, not simply born. Even history supports this. Great leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Eleanor Roosevelt, and even Steve Jobs were not born knowing how to lead nations, movements, or industries. They went through hardship. They learned from mentors. They studied, they practiced, they failed, and they rose again, improving each time. Their leadership was not inherited, it was built, strengthened, and earned. That is the true foundation of leadership development. Our stance today is simple, logical, and grounded in real world observation. Leadership is not determined at birth, it is shaped by learning, experience, and personal progress. And that is why our team proudly and confidently stands against emotion. We believe leaders are crafted, not created at birth. They are trained, not gifted. They are made and not born. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We will pause for a 2-minute intermission. We move to the first rebuttal from the government. You have 4 minutes and 45 seconds to begin.
Good day, Honourable Speaker, esteemed members of government, and distinguished members of the House. The opposition has argued that leadership is something that can be taught, that with training and experience, anyone can become a leader. While we acknowledge that skills such as communication or management skills can be improved through education, their argument overlooks the fundamental reality that skills are not the same as capacity. The capacity of leadership is largely predetermined before any training ever begins. Thus, we argue that leadership qualities are inherited, and therefore leaders are born, not made. Modern behavioral science, from genetic studies to prenatal development, consistently demonstrates that many of the traits we associate with are the foundation of leadership and are strongly influenced by biology. Characteristics such as ambition, resilience, and problem-solving ability show significant heritability. Yes, training can improve skills. They cannot manufacture the raw materials. According to findings published by the Mission Impact in 2022, as much as 70% of leadership qualities are predetermined by biological factors, both genetic and psychological, which can be broken into levels. This is not a point, it's scientific evidence. The first level is genetic level. Studies show that DNA molecules alone make up 50% of psychological and behavioral characteristics linked to leadership. This includes empathy, resistance to stress, a predisposition to creativity or athletic achievement, and even the natural desire to take initiative. All these things depend very much on genes. These traits run in families, and they are formed from the base of leadership potential. Training may develop these skills, but genetics still provides the foundation. Secondly, the embryonic level, which contributes 15% of our individual personality. While the fetus is developing in the womb, trillion neural connections are being formed in the brain. This process is influenced by the mother's health, stress levels, and the function of the placenta. Thus, this means that part of a person's temperament, their emotional patterns, and cognitive tendencies is influenced long before the child is even developed. In other words, leadership potential begins forming before a person enters this world. The final level is hormonal, which also accounts for 15% of personality. Hormones like androgens influence assertiveness and confidence. Cortisols affect stress responses, and thyroxine affects drive, which strongly influences how inclined a person is to lead. People with naturally lower stress responses and higher assertiveness often step into leadership roles effortlessly, without needing to be sent to a workshop or even seminar for training. Their chemistry already positions them for leadership. So, when the opposition argues that leadership can be taught, our question is, taught to whom? If two people receive the same training and are given the same opportunities to lead, the person born with initiate leadership traits will outperform the other every time. Training does not erase biological advantages. It can refine skills, but it cannot create leadership capacity. This is why we maintain confidently, based on scientific research, that leadership is not something that anyone can simply learn. The core characteristic defines a leader's charisma, resilience, and emotional strength are formed from a DNA, prenatal development, and our natural chemistry. We do not all start equal. Some individuals are born biology wired with leadership traits that are training without replicated. Therefore, our argument stands that leaders are born because training can refine what already exists. They cannot create what biology did not provide. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We will take a break for a 2-minute intermission. We now invite the honorable members of the opposition to deliver their first rebuttal. You have 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Begin.
A pleasant good afternoon to all. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House, I rise on behalf of the opposition to deliver our first rebuttal. Even though the government argues that some individuals are naturally born with leadership traits such as confidence, charisma, or assertiveness, we must emphasize that possessing these traits alone does not make a leader. A seed may have potential, but it is not a tree until it is nurtured and it grows. Similarly, leadership is developed, not inherited. History is full of leaders who were not born exceptional, but they were made through experience, education, and personal growth. Mahatma Gandhi was a shy, soft-spoken child. He didn't enter this world as revolutionary or a global leader. His leadership emerged through years of learning and discipline and dedication to purpose. Nelson Mandela was not born knowing how to lead a nation. He developed patience, negotiation skills, and moral courage through decades of struggle and reflection. Oprah Winfrey didn't wake up with influence or business acumen. She developed these skills through education, mentorship, and life experience. On the other hand, we have examples of people who were born into leadership and failed spectacularly. Take Marie Antoinette, born into royal privilege as the Queen of France. Despite her platform and influence, she failed to connect with her people or to navigate critical political crisis, and she became a symbol of the monarchy's failure rather than a competent leader. And for that, she lost her head. If leadership was purely genetic, then every confident or assertive child would become a global leader. But clearly, this is not the case. Many people who start shy, uncertain, or inexperienced grow into extraordinary leaders through practice, learning, and deliberate effort. Leadership is a skill set learned, owned, and applied over time. It is not predetermined at birthright. Modern research supports that leadership is made, not born. Leadership skills such as emotional intelligence, strategic thinking, and decision making develop through experience and training. The prefrontal cortex, which is the brain's executive center, enables leaders to balance rational thoughts and emotional regulation. These abilities are learned and strengthened over time. It is not inherited. There is no leadership genes. True leaders grow through mentorship, practice, and reflection, not biological luck. Leadership involves communication, conflict management, strategic planning, vision skills that cannot exist at birth. Like muscles, leadership capabilities strengthen with exercise, real life challenges. This proves that leaders are made through experience, not born fully formed. The government made a point where they stated that if two people oh my God, if two people receive the same training, they will not develop at the same rate. That has nothing to being born with a leader. People grow based on dedication and willingness to improve, not birth. The people who rise is usually the people who practice more, works harder, learn faster, and applies their skills, not the one who simply has natural traits. Effort outweighs talent, and when talent doesn't work, effort falls into play. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, natural trait may provide potential, but is through development, education, and experience. For the
Thank you, honorable
experience
member.
and personal growth.
Honorable member,
Sorry.
your time has finished. Um, Thank you, honorable member, for your point. We will now take 2 minutes intermission.
Good morning, House of Speaker of the
Good
House,
morning. House.
judges,
Morning.
honorable members.
Hi, honorable member. Hi, honorable member. Have not been addressed, so I will inform you when your time begins. So
Okay.
the House now calls for the opposition to give their second rebuttal. Your time starts now.
Good morning, Speaker of the House, judges, honorable members. We, the opposition, still maintain the idea that leadership can be taught and built through training, experience, or trial and error over time. We have suggested that anyone can become a leader if given the right opportunities and education. While we acknowledge that skills such as communication, strategic planning, or management techniques can be learned, this argument misses the core of our position. Skills are not the same as capacity. Leadership capacity, defined as the natural ability to inspire, guide, and make decisive choices under pressure, is largely predetermined by biology, long before any teaching occurs. As we've repeatedly stated, leadership qualities are deeply rooted in genetics, prenatal development, and hormones. Up to 50% of physiological and behavioral traits associated with leadership, including empathy, stress, resistance, creativity, and the desire to lead, come from DNA inherited from parents. Even if the opposition shows example of leaders shaped by experience, or point to programs that improve leadership behavior, or arguments still stand. Not everyone in the same environment, subjected to the same training, becomes a leader. This is because only those with the innate biological foundation we have described rise naturally into leadership roles. Training cannot manufacture the instinctive capacity to lead. Behavior can be learned, but the ability to lead comes from within. Leadership is not a collection of skills. It is a reflection of one's personality and innate traits. Training cannot create these traits. It can polish them, refine behaviors, or improve performance. But the foundation is innate. Experience can shape opportunity and reveal, but it cannot create what is not already there. Leadership is not a skill anyone can acquire equally. It is a capacity that flows from within. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, everything we have demonstrated today leads to an undeniable truth. Leadership is an innate force, not a manufactured skill. From the earliest signs of childhood to the highest moments of crisis, true leadership reveals themselves to qualities that cannot be enforced, copied, or artificially developed. The confidence that sees a person under pressure, the charisma that draws others in, and the intuition that guides them through uncertainty are not classroom lessons. They are natural inheritances, sorry. Even in our everyday lives, we see that when chaos hits and people look for direction, it is not the most trained person they follow. It is the one with the natural presence, courage, and clarity to lead. It is not the person who has completed most courses or memorized the latest management techniques who rises to the occasion. Training may produce capable workers, skilled speakers, or efficient managers, but it cannot produce essence of leadership. That essence is born into a person, woven into their character from the start. We see this everywhere, in history and in everyday life. True leadership reveals themselves under pressure, not because they have been instructed how to respond, but because their innate qualities guide them naturally. Alexander the Great led armies as a teenager. Mandela exhibited moral courage long before becoming a political icon. And countless everyday leaders emerged instinctively in communities and workplaces. The influence is not performed, it
Thank you.
is lived.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for your contribution. We will now take a 2-minute intermission. The House now calls on the opposition to deliver their second rebuttal and closing statements. You have 5 minutes. No new points must be introduced.
Good day again, everyone, honorable speakers and members. Our team strongly opposes the idea that leaders are born, not made. We demonstrated that using logic, history, science, and actual experience, that leadership is the outcome of development, learning, and deliberate effort, rather than a predetermined destiny. It was stated by my colleague that leadership is not a fixed trait, rather a set of actions and behavior. The ability to convince, guide, motivate, and inspire people to achieve a common goal. These are not traits seen in a crib or nursery, they are abilities that must be learned, practiced, and improved. No youngster is born knowing how to explain a vision, resolve disputes, or plan under pressure. These abilities are developed through instruction, mentorship, and real life experiences. History itself has proven our point numerous times. Mahatma Gandhi, once a bashful child, rose to become a global leader through his commitment and determination. Nelson Mandela owned his patience and bargaining abilities during years of hardship. Oprah Winfrey grew her impact via education, mentorship, and perseverance. These instances show that leaders are shaped by experience, not birthrights. In contrast, Marie Antoinette, who was born into royal privilege, failed miserably as a ruler. Her extravagant lifestyle and inability to relate with her people made her a symbol of the monarchy's failure, which indeed shows that birthright alone is insufficient. We highlighted the distinction between potential and real leadership. Confidence and charm are useful traits, yes, but they are not enough. As was previously stated, many confident people never lead, yet numerous others who started off timid or reluctant grew to become outstanding leaders through hard work and development, like Rosa Parks, Albert Einstein, Larry Page, Satya Nadella, and J.K. Rowling. Leadership is not a crown given at birth, it is a skill set acquired over time. Science confirms this reality. According to the research, genetic factors may account for just around 30% of leadership aptitude, with the remaining 70% developed through environment, experience, and learning. Practice and training help to build leadership skills such as emotional intelligence, strategic thinking, and decision making. As with muscles, the brain's capacity for leadership improves with use. There, there are no leadership genes. What exists is the potential to learn, adapt, and have growth. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, our arguments have been clear, consistent, and convincing. Leadership is not influenced by heredity, privilege, or destiny. It is influenced by education, mentoring, experience, and personal growth. To argue otherwise is to deny history, science, and the experienced realities of numerous leaders around the world. Natural characteristics may create potential, but only growth, education, and perseverance can turn potential into actual leadership. The government team said that Alexander the Great was a born a leader. He was not born a leader. He was born with opportunity. He became a leader because he was trained by Aristotle, educated in warfare, and exposed to politics and given real leadership experience. If birth alone created leaders, every royal child would be successful as Alexander. But history proves otherwise. It was development, not genetics. That is what made him great. To conclude, leaders are not born, rather, they are created, crafted, and reinforced by work, study, and determination. That is the truth of leadership, and that is why our team strongly and proudly opposes the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. This concludes today's debate on the motion leaders are born, not built. Right? Um, the House will now enter an 8-minute assessment period. The House is suspended.